be more suitable for today's talk, dealing with stress, right? So let me just start sharing the screen and start off. I believe people from different time zones are part of the session.
Yes, yes, they are.
Yeah, so great. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody here. Let me just start sharing this slide. Right. So dealing with stress. So before we start off with the session, is can the session be more interactive? Maybe people can use the chat box to interact, communicate. Any queries can be asked. I'll keep my chat box open so I can see anybody being there.
Sure, I'll read out if I come across any questions or
Yeah.
any comment. Yeah.
Yeah. So to begin with, let's try understanding what a stress is. So we all are very, frequently we say this word, use this word. Yeah, I'm stressed. Today was a very stressful day. So can anybody tell me what do you exactly mean by this word stress? I'm basically a teacher. I'm used to start with a question and I seek answers from the audience. So I'm trying to follow the same for this today's session as well. And this is going to be more involving and interactive session. So I encourage people to post in your answers, queries. Let's make it more interactive than one-way communication.
I think for me, stress is more of, you know, getting occupied with a lot of things and thoughts in mind. It's not about too much work to do, it is about too many things to think at a time. So
Right,
for me,
right.
I think that is a stress.
Yes, yes. So most of us actually feel the same way. There are too many things to do, or there was a lot of things to do today. But have you ever come across people have a lot of things to do, but still feeling, no, I'm cool with it, I'm enjoying it. It doesn't make me feel stressed, right? So I see an answer here. Feeling there is a lack of resources. Okay, so stress is basically a feeling, rightly said by Mr. Sunil here. It is a feeling of emotional and physical tension, right? So a feeling of emotional or physical tension. It's a normal thing. Everyone feels it from a child to an adult. Everybody feels stress. So is this normal? Is this feeling of emotional or physical tension normal? Yes, it is normal to everybody. Every human reaction it happens to everybody. I don't know why the slides are not changing. One second, please. Yeah. Yes, it is a normal human reaction that happens to everyone. In fact, the human body is designed to experience stress and react to it. Like stress is how we react when we feel under pressure or threatened. It usually happens like we are in a situation where we are not able to control it, or we feel that we are not able to manage it. That's when we show a reaction, and that reaction is what we refer to as stress. Stress is about how we react when we feel under pressure or threatened. Usually happens when we are in a situation that we don't feel we can manage or control. The various types of stress. Gaining insight into these different types of stress and recognizing them might help us to deal with it. So when you talk about the stress, there are different levels of stress, broadly classified into three different levels, starting with acute stress. Acute stress is a very minimal level, which happens to everybody. And it's the body's immediate reaction to a new and challenging situation. Like, say, for example, it's a kind of stress you might feel when you narrowly escape an accident, a car accident or something. That immediate stress, and immediately after that particular situation, you get back to normal. Or another example I could give you was if you are going on a roller coaster ride. That excitement, that frightening, the feel of fear, as long as you're on a roller coaster ride, that is an example of an acute stress. It does not usually harm anybody, and sometimes it is even good. Why do you say it is good? Because, like, for example, you have your exams coming near, and you want to prepare for it, and it's a very important examination for you. At any cost, you want to clear it. So there is some amount of stress within you. So you put an effort, you study to it, and you write an exam. This kind of a stretch, which is normal, of not too harmful, might be sometimes good as well. Can also come out of something that you actually enjoy. Like I said, a roller coaster ride. That's very that's something that you actually enjoy. However, there's severe acute stress. That's a different story. Sometimes what happens, the similar situation, they tell you heart patients should not get into any kind of roller coaster ride. That could lead to some life threatening situations, like it can lead to a post traumatic stress disorders or some other mental health problems. That's a different story. Otherwise, for a normal human beings, acute stress is very normal, something that you cannot avoid, and it can be used for a positive purpose. The second level of stress is episodic acute stress. The term itself says it is episodic. It is very frequent. You frequently encounter the acute stress. This might happen if you're often anxious and worried about things you suspect may happen. Right? You might feel that your life is very chaotic, and you seemingly go for one crisis to the next. The minute you come up with one crisis, by the time that's getting over, you feel you're getting into another crisis. So that's where you call it as episodic acute stress. Certain professions like the law enforcement or firefighters may also lead to frequent high stress situations. As with these severe acute stresses, episodic acute stress can affect your physical health and mental well being. Third type of stress, this is more intense, which is called as chronic stress. When you have high stress levels for an extended period of time, you have chronic stress. Long term stresses like this can have a negative impact on your health, and it may contribute to the various issues like anxiety issues, certain heart diseases, cardiovascular diseases, depression, high blood pressure, or weakened immune systems could be the causes for a chronic stress. These are the severe ones. However, the other ones, not so life threatening, could also be there, like headaches, feeling dizzy, or not feeling hungry, neck pain, shoulder pain, stomach upset, heavy chest. All these are the various causes, the various effects due to stress. So, stress can happen at a workplace also, stress can happen outside the workplace as well. We usually hear people saying, I'm stressed at work. But have you ever thought that we could get stressed when we are traveling, when we are stuck in a traffic jam, especially people who are in metropolitan and cosmopolitan cities? You would have experienced these kind of stress. You see a huge traffic jam, you need to reach up your destination within a scheduled time, and you're not able to. That would lead to a stress outside the work. So here are a few examples that the chart will portray the different causes of stress at work and outside the work. So at work, you can have career concerns. So you don't know, you're not getting promoted, or you're not happy with the workplace where you're currently working. There could be role ambiguity, confusions as to what your roles and responsibilities are. You have no clarity on what you are expected to deliver and what you're not expected to deliver. That could cause some kind of stress to the employees. Rotating work shifts, some work in the night shifts, some in the early morning shifts, day shifts. You are sleep deprived, and there is no any fixed timing, the difference in timings. So those shifts could cause stress in the employees. Role conflict, occupational demands, a lot of demands from you, certain expectations from you at your workplace. Lack of participation in decision makings. You need to make very critical decisions, especially people at the manager posts. They have to make very crucial decisions, very immediate decisions, and you're not able to make the decisions because you're not involved in major decision making, major meetings. So there's a lack of participation from your end while decisions are made. That could lead for stress and excuse me, over workload, too much of work, under workload. Of course, you just go to work, you are not given the work that you are capable of. That could lead for stress. Poor working conditions, lack of group cohesiveness, interpersonal and intergroup conflicts, organizational changes, changes in the leadership styles, changes in the management policies could lead for certain resistance to change, and that could vice versa lead in stress, lack of social support as well. And outside the work, civic amenities, life changes in your personal life. There are some major changes. You get married, you move into a new family, so there is a change. Or you have a child, or you lose a very dear one in your life. So some kind of life changes. Frustrations, like I said, traffics, or being a mother, I can experience this, the frustration that I have when I'm not able to deal with my child's tantrums, right? Then racial discriminations, caste, religious conflicts, personality, technological changes. New technologies are coming in. I think we've all encountered this of late. Technological changes during COVID. We were all pushed to take online classes while we were all so well versed in taking offline classes in a group of 100 students sitting in front of us. That could lead to a stress. And career changes. You decide to make a new career change. You need to learn everything from a scratch, and that could lead to a lot of stress. Now, coming to the teaching. Is teaching stressful? Can I hear from a couple of you? Is teaching stressful? I'm sorry if anybody is commenting on YouTube because I don't know what's happening there.
I think, even when earlier this same question been asked, uh, most of the audience had these same answers. Like, most of them think teaching as a job is not stressful. But other probably sub products that they get to deal with, because in few institutions teachers are responsible for admissions, or few of them have been given
Right,
along with their teaching admission administration jobs, and also managing both their family and family time. And though it's been said that school you will have comfortable work hours, and or you have you're not working as much as other corporates or other private employees or probably other employees, but
right,
actually teachers have a lot of workload that they bring to home as well. So I think all that adds stress. But teaching as a job, I think I have never heard, at least those teachers who passionately got into the job, mentioning as stressful. They enjoy it. Only other sub products, I think, bringing all the stress. So that's what is the summary of answers that I have received so far.
right. Thank you so much for that, Pooja. Yes, teaching is very, very stressful. Why? Because, like you said, today now teaching is just not does not just come with you go to class, deliver the lecture, and come back. There are a lot of challenges that we are facing as teachers today. There used to be a time, maybe the previous generations or the generation who have already retired, all they had to do was just carry a book, go to class, talk, and come back. But today, teaching comes with a lot of things, a lot of challenges, a lot of angles and approaches that we need to look at. So I would say teaching is very stressful. We have a lot of administration part of work that we need to do. We need to mentor them. We need to maintain a record of each and everything that has been done by the teachers. And yeah, admission part, that's something that I don't want to comment because the different schools, institutions follow different things. But otherwise, talking teaching, you take any institution, whether it is at a lower grade, school level, or second higher level, in all the cases, teaching comes with a lot of challenges and expectations. So teachers work long hours than many other positions. I think we all agree with this. There is a stereotype that teachers go in the morning, they take classes, they get back home at 4 or 5, and then they have time to take care of their family. It's usually majority are women who opt for this profession. But I must say hats off to all those women who have chosen this as a profession. This does not come with 9 to 4. It, it is much more longer than what it is. There are what do you say, emails continuously receiving. We are receiving messages on WhatsApp. We are receiving calls, right? So there's a lot of infinite work that we do, which cannot be accounted under this profession as teaching. Often leads to burnout and stress. Every small things counts, which we really don't count under the teaching profession, which leads to the burnout and stress. And to be very honest, I just want to share this experience with you. Some of my colleagues who are working for industry, who switched to teaching profession, expecting that that would be much more relaxing. They worked for a couple of years and they were like, yeah, the profession was better. At least we had 2 days off and we didn't carry work at home. So you see, job market has been shifting now. Teacher stress is one of the main factors that has been pushing many out of this profession. It's a major concern that we all have to look at. We are this is a profession that creates a lot of other professions, and if people are switching to not be a teacher, then that's a big red flag that we have to look at. Many contributing factors for switching professions are lack of resources to support students. It could be resources in terms of the materials that we share in the class. It could also be the resources that will help us to deal with the various other challenges that we're facing relating to students. Today, the generation that we all are teaching is not the same as it used to be in those days, earlier days. Children come with various questions. They come with different attitudes, different behaviors. We cannot always tell the children come from a very healthy and happy background. They carry their behaviors, they carry their attitudes out from outside the institutions, schools or colleges, institutions, and dealing with such behaviors has become a major challenge, which is leading to stress among the faculties. Work-life balance, like I just said in the previous slide, balancing between your personal life and professional life is becoming very challenging in this profession. And other political issues, internal or external political issues. So, what are the major issues that are faced by the teachers? Teachers are wasting what little preparation time they do have. Like, since people are moving out from this profession, they have very little time for their planning due to sub shortages, which is stretching them thin. And students are coming from different behavioral backgrounds, different family backgrounds, which is causing a hindrance for a learning process sometimes. And it's very challenging for us to deal with their new behaviors. Dealing with students' negative behavior could get really stressful. Have lack of professional autonomy. Now, what do you mean by this professional autonomy? I'm talking from a school point of view, this particular point. Uh, there is a fear in the teachers that they are evaluated frequently. Some schools, they follow random evaluations and walkthroughs on a regular basis. The heads, they go on rounds, they check what the teachers are doing. Knowing that you can be evaluated at any moment, that leads to stress among the teachers, especially in an environment where something as small as sitting down could lead to a negative evaluation, could lead to a lot of stress among the teachers. constant pressure to keep teachers all on the same curriculum and same pacing. Our curriculum is such that it is all scripted and we have some fixed time limit that has been given to us and we need to finish that portion within the given time span. Now, what happens when we are encountering this kind of a pressure? Teachers, they want to help students achieve, and the feeling of leaving any student behind is devastating. The pressure that they put on themselves to ensure that they serve all students can contribute to the stress. I want to teach or I want to bring up a child who's weak in their academics, but I'm not able to because of the time constraints. I want to put a lot of more inputs to the current curriculum. I'm not able to because that could be out of the syllabus for the child. And the feeling of not meeting the expectations, at the end of the day you need to answer yourself, did I do justice today in the class? Were the students happy, and were the students, I mean, did they get to learn something new? Where I think is a big question mark. So end of the day, as teachers we feel very devastated about it, and the feeling of leaving any student behind is something that a teacher cannot express. At the same time, when you go to a class, you deliver an excellent lecture and you come out, the feeling of satisfaction is also something that we cannot express. Not able to meet the basic needs. This is something that I think none of us really speak about it. The basic needs, like we cannot, use washrooms throughout the day anytime we want. The lunch breaks are, there are bells. The period between one bell to another is very short. We need to finish our lunch within that time. So these are the basic needs that we are sometimes not able to. So far we've been thinking about whether the stress is being good or bad. What do you all think? Is stress good or bad? What is your point of view? Is stress good or is it bad?
I think for me, it depends. And again, it depends on quality of stress. It is not about quantity, quality of stress on what I am stressing myself. So that I think makes all it, if it is good or bad. I think as Shailaja M mentioned, if it is limited, obviously I think stress is good. But if reaches the level where it is concerning our complete well-being, then I think it is definitely a
Right,
bad
right.
thing to have. Yeah.
So the overwhelming focus of the science and the media has always been on the bad effect, because we say that we have stress that could lead to various ailments, health ailments like heart diseases. We are seeing that youngsters, having strokes, having cardiac arrest. So most of the times it is always shown on the negative side. In contrast, like rightly said by a couple of participants here, acute or short-term stress can have protective and beneficial effects. There's something called fight or flight stress response, which is very natural. I don't know if you all have come across this concept of fight or flight stress. I'll give you a simple example. Now, there is a tiger. The tiger is very hungry, and the tiger attacks another animal, a weaker animal, for its survival. Now, when we are hungry, we are stressed, and we make efforts to feed ourselves and survive. At the same time, the weaker animal is stressed because that particular animal needs to survive. And if it does not put effort and run away, escape from the wild, he may it may die. So there is this what do you say? The fight or flight stress response, which is very nature's fundamental survival mechanism. So sometimes it is good. Of course, there are bad as well, but if you take it in a positive way, it can always turn out to be a good one. So acute or short-term stress can have protective and beneficial effects. To protect yourself, these stress could be beneficial, and it is coupled with immune activation. Like, for example, during a surgery or vaccination, the immune response is enhanced, right? So the fight or flight stress response is nature's fundamental survival mechanism. Now, how to deal with this? If it is rightly dealt, the stress could be good. The goal is not complete. You cannot completely get away, completely get rid of this stress. What you can do is only manage it. Over time, managing your stress levels may help lower your risk for stress related disease as well. So now the question is, how do we manage this? Coming to the main part, three main steps. First, you identify all those that triggers your stress. You segregate them into which can be avoided, which cannot be avoided. Things that can be avoided, stress is managed. Things that cannot be avoided, find ways to cope with those stressors and see how you can deal with it. The different ways to manage stress for teachers. First, focus on self care. You need to focus on yourself. Self care could be eating good, drinking water, doing some meditations, workout, walking, right? You care your body. When you care your body, you will automatically work towards managing your stress. Focus on adopting sustainable teaching practices. As a teacher, see, when there is a particular topic that is being given to me, I talk about the topic every time, every year. It's just that the crowd, the group of students whom I would be teaching will be changing, but otherwise, it will be the same thing that I would be talking and the same methodology practices I would be using. Over a period of time, I might get bored, and because of this boredom, that could lead to stress. So, one best way to keep yourself more passionate about your profession, enjoy your profession, is to adopt sustainable teaching practices. So this time I made a role play to make the students understand the concept. Maybe next time I will give them those concepts, ask them to come up with certain presentations or a group discussion or a chart work where they bring in their creativity. So use the different teaching practices to make sure that it is not creating any kind of stress for yourself as well as for the children. Stay organized. This is something that I follow. Staying organized. You can understand. I've had experience as a student, as a employee, and today as a director leading an institution as well as a working mom. The work schedule is so tight and jam packed for me that if I do not stay organized even a single day, the whole day becomes totally disturbed. So I just want to share this how my day starts. So I wake up in the morning, I get my son ready to the school, give him bath, put the uniform, put him into the school bus, pack his boxes so that he also gets his daily nutrition. And then I go to a bit of workout or walking or gym. Then I get back, I go to my work. There I have some one, two, three, four some things to do. So I make a list of it. Again in the evening I come back. I need to pick up my child from the school, give him something again to eat, make him do the homeworks. I take some time out from that tight schedule so that 1 hour it's me time, and then have dinner, go on time to sleep. This is like a pack. Even if one thing gets disturbed, my whole day gets disturbed. So staying organized is very important. And this is one best way how you can ensure that you're not stressed. Suppose one of the things does not get over on time. My sleep time gets disturbed. My sleep time gets disturbed. The number of hours that I sleep gets affected. I have to sleep lesser hours. If I sleep for lesser hours, the next day, the whole day gets disturbed for me. So staying organized is very important. Plan your day. Put down a list. Maintain a diary. Before you go to bed, make a list of things that you need to do the next day. Follow it properly. Ensure that you finish it on time on that particular day itself. That doesn't make you stressed out. Make peace and be passionate. Teachers, like I said, our profession is infinite. The job that we do is infinite. We receive calls, we receive messages, we need to respond. A child, a student calls us during exam time asking, could you please explain this? Could you give us some important questions? Right? So, and it is very tiring. To do this on a day to day basis, it becomes very tiring. At the first place, make up your mind. Make peace with profession. You try to accept it. Yes, this is my profession. This is what is expected by me. The minute you make peace with it, 50% of your stress comes down. And be passionate. Enjoy doing this. I would always recommend somebody to come into the profession only when you are being very passionate about it. When you do things out of passion, you do not feel stress. When you do things which you're not able to do or which you don't enjoy, that itself leads to a major stress. So make peace and be passionate towards your profession. Having compassion, this is again very important. We're dealing with students, we're dealing with kids who do not know what a real life is. They haven't experienced it. You need to be very passionate towards them. This, I think, you agree with all of us. We all have a favorite teachers. Agree with me? You all have a favorite teacher during our school. And that particular subject used to be our favorite subject as well. When you like a teacher, you tend to like the subject as well. When you like the subject, you tend to perform better in that particular subject. And how do you make a teacher, a student like you? By being compassionate towards them. Have sympathy, have empathy, be polite, being kind. You tend to have the attention of your students towards their learning process. And recharge yourself. Again, very important. We work throughout the week. One day in a week, maybe we can take a time out for ourselves. It could be like however it works for you. Maybe you may say that no, I cannot afford to take one day off from my work. So it could be like 1 hour in a day. You could spend some time for yourself. You could meditate, or you go out, watch a movie, go out with a friend, call a friend, spend time with your family, have a nice chat. That will help you recharge yourself. Whatever ways helps you in recharging, please do that. Right? Recharging yourself will help you to come back with more energy on the next day. You'll be able to deliver your responsibilities in much more successful manner. However, these changes may not be enough to keep all, yeah, these changes may not be enough to keep all of the educators who are suffering from stress and burnout unless there is a major change in the education system. Teacher stress will continue to push many educators out of the profession they once loved. So some of them came out of passion. I'm sharing my personal experience. Some of my friends who came into this profession out of a lot of passion, and then they decided after a period of time that no, this isn't working out for them, and they're losing that passion towards this noble profession. So somewhere our education system also needs to be changed, especially in India. I would I would say that this is a profession where people don't benefit much monetarily. So that could be one of the ways how you can keep people getting into this profession. So with this, I just have a small video to play. I will conclude this session with a small video. Post this, we can have question answer sessions.
Sure.
Please let me know if it's audible. Is it audible?
No, we don't see the video.
You're not able to see the video?
No, it's still in the last slide.
Is the screen visible now?
But no audio.
You can go to settings, ma'am, and then share a system audio. Then we will be able to hear.
Settings, is it? Share sound.
Yes.
Socially and emotionally.
Is it audible now?
But teaching is known as one of the most stressful occupations. And this but teachers play a huge role in shaping children's lives, academically, socially, and emotionally. But teaching is known as one of the most stressful occupations. And this high stress is causing teachers to burn out, disengage, and become dissatisfied with their jobs and cause more turnover than ever. Studies estimate that between 30 and 40% of teachers will leave the profession by their 5th year. Teacher stress and turnover hurts students, schools, and communities, resulting in problems such as low student achievement in math and language arts, disrupted relationships between teachers, students, and parents, and costs to the system that exceed $7.3 billion a year. So what causes teacher stress in the first place? Many teachers are reporting that job satisfaction is at an all-time low. The pressure of high-stakes testing and managing difficult students have dramatically increased the cognitive and emotional demands of teachers, leaving them feeling overwhelmed. Teachers cite they often lack effective, inclusive leadership, and they feel powerless because they don't have much say in how the school is run. But there is hope. Some changes are being introduced that have been proven to help teachers. Mindfulness programs can help teachers manage emotions and find joy in teaching. Mentoring programs can help new teachers reduce stress and raise retention, which improves classroom instruction, costs, and reduce absenteeism. Social and emotional learning programs for students can reduce teacher burnout and increase their satisfaction. Unfortunately, not enough schools offer these scientifically proven programs. It's time for school, district, state, and federal leaders toward healthier school environment for all children, but also to improve education. This is
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible. Yeah, I think I have to share here something. I was discussing with one of the, reputed institutions head regarding socio-emotional learning, because we had a session recently on same aspect, and I was talking to her and I said I think this is the good thing to introduce, and we introduce in school or in your institution. So the answer I got was actually surprising, and complete lookout for this particular concept is different in many schools, and what she told me is parents won't agree for it, because see, in SEL we normally focus on self-awareness, self-confidence, relationship management, decision making, all that. But parents compel us, come and tell us, first teach academics. What for them academics is all about books and exercises that you do in the class. and you have to give them a lot of homework, and they want their children, they want to see their children doing something academic, not non-academic, and they're not even ready to pay on it. And they don't accept if we tell that we are going to, 1 hour we are going to spend every day on this particular aspect. So it was actually surprising for me, because in earlier I used to hear, I'm a 90s kid, and I used to hear in school that, parents coming and saying, teachers, whatever you do, I want to make sure that my child is well behaved, and she does this, does that and all. But now it is focuses completely on academic aspects on career building, just from the first standard or probably in the KGs, they want them to see growing up as a
Only
doctors,
academic.
engineers. Yeah, so that is one thing I think, but this is really good point. SEL can bring in lot of changes. I have seen
Yes.
that happening in most of the schools, where they have this introduced. So children, you teach burden on teachers reduces drastically if students are well aware of what is happening around, and probably, I know it's when they're young age, it's 4 5 years 6 year or 7 years old, you cannot expect much from the children, but there is a huge opportunity or possibility through SEL to tune them into something
Yes.
really good, that
Yes.
is the area.
Yeah. So to just add to that, I agree with you. So it's scientifically proved that a child who perform good at their academics if they're given exposure to a lot of extracurricular and co-curricular activities too. A child needs a holistic development, not just only in the academic point of view. The child needs to grow in the way their thought process goes, like the thought process should grow, their creativity should grow, their analytical skills should grow. That's when they're most successful. So only academics, the child might be good at only writing exams and scoring marks, but end of the day, that's not what is required. I have been teaching at a higher education level, so I've seen students who come there only from exam point of view. They're you know very excellent in their academics. They score 90, 92, 95. But at the end of the day, getting a job becomes so challenging for them.
Yeah, true.
But a student who scored only 70s, 60s, 70s, a mediocre student who also have the confidence, the communication skills, to grab a real good positions to the job, to the good packages. So somewhere we need to educate the parents too. As the director of a school, I do encounter the parents come and they say, no, we don't allow our children to take part in the annual day programs. We don't want them to perform any kind of dance. So sometimes the religion factor also they bring in. Uh, but as long as it is helping the child, I think the parents have to encourage them, and it's the teacher's responsibility to educate the parents and tell them how this is going to be beneficial for the child in the overall development.
True. I agree. I think it's time when parent teachers meeting happens. Teachers talk more on, I think, equally or at least on non-academic,
Right.
importance as well. And I think I have also seen many teachers want to avoid talking to parents. When you get to hear that there is a PTM that is scheduled, they get they feel that it is something, they know parents come with a lot of questions, and you have to answer them, and each parent will have different concern. It is not that every teacher don't want to do it, but there are many of us want to avoid talking more to parents. But I think more you talk to parents, you will have less stress, because you know what is expected from from that particular child, what you can expect and what you can give. both you can understand if you have really good relationship with parents, and you know,
Right.
both working together matters a lot, I believe.
Right.
At least in current scenario, you know, in Bangalore recently, a child who was in depression, I think just a day before 12th boards, she committed suicide. This is just not just one of the cases, you know, you get to see hundreds of it. So I believe if teachers and parents work together, we can at least reduce these kind of incidents, you know, that.
Definitely, definitely. And schools should also have certain counselors at their schools. I think as per the law, that is mandatory that they need to have. But yeah, like you rightly said, we can take them to counselors only when a teacher and a student, a teacher and a parent work together in development.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions or anything to share?
Yes, we have last 6 minutes. So if you have any, your experience to share or your opinion, feedback, anything, you're welcome. You can unmute yourself and speak. I know there are many teachers on YouTube. You just can leave a message on the chat box, and here I think all of you are teachers. So if you have anything specifically to share about, you can speak.
Yes, so somebody who's asking, who says
Yeah,
that you have a question. Really slow, okay?
Faith, if you're okay with, you can unmute and speak. Okay. No problem. Yeah,
No
go ahead.
problem. Yeah. Yeah. So he is intellectually good, you say, but the grasping thing is really slow, right? Um, right. Okay, see, can I know which grade is this child in? Grade two. Okay. So that's a very early stage. The child needs to, have more learning in the basics. When the child is more well versed in the basic, that's when, as the child grows to the higher grade, he develops the speed. It is too early to tell that, ask the child to be very fast, grasp things, and be at a different level. Every child is different. So some children learn at a very lower pace. Some children grasp things very fast and they're very quick at getting things. So the teacher needs to be more patient with the child, make the child more well versed, practice with the basics. Once the child is clear with the basics, and since he's intellectually good, I think it should not be a problem for the child to pick up in the coming years.
Okay, so for those who are on YouTube, question was, the child is slow. In probably just a second, I'm just going to the chat. Yeah, so if you any other questions we have, you can unmute yourself and speak. Okay, so it was answered to the child who's really slow but intellectually
Yeah, the teacher
sound and
basically
who's in
has to be a
second
little
standard.
patient enough. Teachers
Yeah.
can be a little more patient enough, then things will fall in place. And most importantly, that child should never be compared with the other children. Encourage the child, motivate the child. For every correct answer, the child must be encouraged and applauded in front of others. That will motivate the child to learn more and more. I strongly believe as a parent also, I don't really believe in the child has to be very has to be like 90% or 95%. I mean, many children are that might be categories. But I personally feel as a parent and as an educator, as long as you are knowing the concepts, the basics, I don't think we need to worry about it.
Yeah, true. Because I think it's even I have seen IQ has nothing to do with smartness or common sense. I have seen children with extremely higher level common sense with really average scores. I think it's completely two different things, and they if I believe if you have common sense, you definitely will make something
Yes,
out of
yes. You find
yeah,
a way out. Yeah.
yeah, you find a way out, definitely. So that is what missing in most of the probably academic structure nowadays. It's more of scores oriented, not of because I think it's same question you studied in class, and you revise it, and again you go through in the your pre-boards, and again you answer to same questions in the exam. You're not applying the concept, you're just repeating the concept again and again and writing the answer, same thing again you are writing in the paper. So I think rather it is better we work more on applying the concepts what they have learned.
Right.
So I really like that kind of examination or probably assessment procedure, rather just memorizing things and writing again in the exam. So I think we are close to 3 p.m. It's almost reached. Thank you everyone for joining us. And Dr. Anusha is available on LinkedIn. So I'll send her profile link to each one of you. As you all, I think, we all connected through LinkedIn, and also I'm uploading this video in YouTube, and in description, I'm sharing Anusha's LinkedIn profile. So you can, get in touch with her for any other future discussions or, brainstorming. Thank you so much for joining in time. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this great initiative. And I thank all the participants for your patience listening. I had a
Thank you
great
so
time.
much actually for accepting the invitation and for joining us. And this was really amazing session, a lot of learning. I'm sure people who watch in future also in YouTube, they are going to learn a lot. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anusha, and thank you, Pooja. It
Thank
was
you.
really